Hey everyone, so it's day one of this experiment, and I basically had two sleeping phases so far. I had my noon sleeping phase, that's when I started, and I just had the 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. sleeping phase. And I'm now going into the awake phase, where I will be up until 10 p.m. And basically, I want to do this kind of vlog thing twice a day, and I want to do it in the morning when I wake up at 8:30, and I want to do it in the evening when I wake up at 6:30 p.m. And I always want to give a quick update on three questions. Of number one being, how did I sleep? Number two, how efficient was I in the awake phases? And number three, on how I do in general, how am I feeling about the experiment. So let's start with question one, about my sleeping phases. And to be honest, it was not amazing. Um, both sleeping phases that I had so far, I never reached the deep sleep phase according to my Apple Watch. In the first phase, I tried to go through for the 1.5 hours. I ended up being in bed, I think, for an hour and 25 minutes. And I was in a light sleeping phase for nearly an entire time. But according to my Apple Watch, I was 0 minutes in the deep sleeping phase. And the sleeping phase that I just had, I actually never really fell asleep. I did feel tired after the afternoon, but I just never really managed to get asleep. And going to what my Apple Watch was tracking, and there was actually nothing. So my Apple Watch also didn't think that I was asleep, and I stopped that sleeping phase a little early. I think after an hour and a couple of minutes, maybe. Um, so given that I didn't sleep too much during the day, I'm pretty optimistic that I'm gonna be tired for the next sleeping phase, and that I will be sleeping more then. So that's on question one. Let's get to question number two, which is, how productive have I been during the awake phases? And there, so I had the phase in the morning. In the morning, I tried to power myself out. I was playing basketball with some friends. Um, it was a little difficult given that the court was slippery and you weren't really able to run. So we just like throwing a couple of hoops, and I wasn't too powered out. But I did come home, and I felt somehow tired. So that was the first awake phase. And then in the second awake phase, I was actually really being really productive. It was quite cool to only have these 3.5 hours and trying to get the things done which you wanted to get done within the 3.5 hours. And I was quite productive. I was actually taking the different shots for this intro video to the experiment I'm doing right now. So I'm pretty happy about that. And I did feel tired afterwards. But as I said earlier, it didn't really enable me to sleep in the past 90 minutes. So that's the update on the first question. Second question, question number three: how do I feel right now? Um, I'm still pretty excited about this. I'm happy that like I used my time very very efficiently during the awake period. And of course, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't manage at all to fall asleep, because I thought I would be a person for whom it's rather easy to fall asleep quickly. This hasn't really worked out so far, but probably it's very normal since my body just like isn't used at all to sleeping at these hours. So after all, I'm excited to see how it will turn out during the next couple of phases.